Welcome to the Advisor ANZ Business Leaders Boardroom series. Business planning is simple, as long as you're prepared and know your objectives. In this webisode, Doug Mathlin will take you through a number of key pillars, which will include outlining your goals and strategy for 2012, identifying the high-paying activities that deliver you to your goals, documenting the market initiative that control lead generation, outlining a business scorecard to monitor your progress. So let's get started. Download your workbook now. You'll find the link below and follow along with this video as we guide you on how to build your business plan. There will be times throughout this webisode where you'll be required to fill in your workbook, so make sure you pause the video and give yourself time to complete the tasks properly. If you keep your workbook updated in line with the webisode, at completion you'll have a one-page business plan, which will not only outline your goals, but what you need to do this year to achieve them. Remember, to get the most value from this webisode, always be thinking about how the information discussed relates to your business and how you can apply it. Before you can create a business plan, you have to first understand the importance of doing so.
The reason we want to put a plan in place is so that we can actually do some different things in 2012 so that we can achieve some different results.
So the first thing I wrote on mine when I did it, the kids were in grade 2, I got twins, and the most important thing was that I never miss anything to do with the kids, school, whatever. That was the most important thing. All the other things and having been successful and making money and all that enables you to do that. So that was always my goal, and that meant that if I was going to be out on a Friday, I had to work really hard from Monday to Thursday.
With a good appreciation on why it's essential to plan, you can now start to create your plan. The following 5 steps are your pillars to business planning and the basic structure to the remainder of this webisode. These are establishing your business vision and goals, determining your value proposition and target market, creating your action plan, those high payoff activities that will generate good business, measuring your successes, and finally, staying on track. Now let's get started. The first step to building a business plan is determining your vision.
One of the things that's going to be important about planning is just to set some plans for what I want to achieve by the end of January and the end of February, but also by the end of the year.
Now I really want that one-on-one and I want that sticky client. So I definitely think to have your smart business plan, you have to incorporate things such as the insurances. Do you know what I mean? You've got to have the second tier to have that one-stop shop. But not only that, I agree with, it was Dee with the communication. That is just becoming so key. Every client wants you to be, hang on, I'll call my broker. Do you know what I mean? You want to be that broker. So I want for the business plan, all of the things that I didn't have that high touch to come together. But having said that, that of course makes my plan more boutique than mega. Which, do you know what I mean? So you've got to know what kind of business you want. Do you want to have volumes and you've got in mind a certain income and a certain level of staffing? And then on top of that, you've got to think, do I want to be mega and how am I going to get there and where are the referrals going to come from? So yeah, you definitely need to consider all of those things.
Pause this video now and take 5 minutes to think about your personal and professional goals for 2012. For example, if your goal is to spend more time with the family this year, note it down. Now that you've identified what it is you want to achieve this year, the next step in building your business plan is identifying your value proposition. What is it that makes you different? What separates you from your competitors and gives you your competitive advantage?
I know that you're the difference in your business. You're the reason people want to do business with you. You're a fantastic personality. You're a pleasure to do business with. You know what you're talking about. You know about home loans. But I guess from a plan perspective, we want to actually be able to document, particularly if you've got a mature business or you've got staff with you who really need to be able to articulate why a customer should be happy to choose you as a broker. So, but just as a question, I know we use this term value proposition or unique selling proposition, and we use this quite generously, if you like, through lots of professional development programs. But if someone actually sits down with you, a potential new client or a potential new referrer, and says, look, I can't get my head around this. Why should I choose you as a mortgage broker? What's your script? What is your answer for that?
Experience, delivery of service,
Fantastic.
And the people that represent the business.
People walk in and want a mortgage and just give them a mortgage. That's just expectations. So your definition of what you think is great service has to be defined. Like it's the other things. It's the phone calls, the out of hours. It's can you give them a proper report if they're shopping around? How can you help them if they just want to get an investment property? How can you show them to do that? How can you set them up structured tax-wise? Are you an expert in your field? So for a specialist, where do you? And generally, if your referrals come in, birds of a feather flock together. So over time, you'll get that same amount of clients coming in, and they will have said. So that's how you get your credibility.
The worst thing that could happen is if someone says to you, or the next person that says, why should I choose you as a broker? You can't come back with, I don't have a good reason for that, or I don't have an answer. That would be really bad, right? Because it's very much a shopping type question. We all know there's consumer behaviour out there where, the press tell people to shop. Shop around, find the best deal for yourself, which also indicates to me that a lot of people don't know even the generic value proposition of a broker. Why should I go to a broker? Well, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've written lots and lots of loans, so I know exactly what I'm doing. That's a good reason to do business with you. I do the running around for you, so I'm actually attuned to what's happening in the market today. I know who's got the best service. I can tell you about rates. I can tell you about flexibility or fees and redraws and internet banking and all those things that come with it that you may be considering. You could go and find all that information out for yourself online, potentially, or you can do the running around. But that's where my value proposition comes in. I can save you a lot of time, and as we know, time is money for everybody. But this is just the standard mortgage broker value proposition versus your value proposition. The standard generic mortgage broking value proposition would be, look, 15 years of experience in writing loans. I've got 5 years experience as a broker, and I can help out with anyone who's looking to borrow money. Big deal. You might have something a little bit more tangible than that, or more valuable for your particular clients. Products and services as well. Generic one, we've got access to a vast array of lenders. There's lots and lots of products out there, very generic type of thing. Maybe you've got something a little bit more specialised. Yes, the diversification piece comes in, we can help you with commercial, but maybe even from a script perspective, there's more information that you can give to your customer. And then the value proposition thing, about experience, but also, as I mentioned, it's probably about the non-verbal stuff that needs to be communicated when you're talking about why people should be happy that they've chosen you. From a sales presentation perspective, can I just get a quick acknowledgement here? Does anyone actually just say at the start, before I ask you a whole lot of questions about your background, your financial situation, your income and all that kind of stuff, let me quickly tell you about my business. Does anyone actually do that and put what I would call a personal or commercial in place? Fantastic. Some of us have said yes, some of us may not. I really recommend that to be something we do. It could be a way for you to introduce your referral script, but I think if you're going to completely disrobe your customer of all of their personal information, income, debts, defaults, credit card, all that, and expenses, all those kind of things, you're going to go into some pretty personal space. I think before you actually do that, it's probably professional, if nothing else, just to say, let me tell you how we operate. Let me tell you a little bit about my business before we get into your situation.
Pause now to record your value proposition. It might be your knowledge and expertise in dealing with small business owners, for example. Mark it down in your workbook. Once you've detailed your value proposition, it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. Creating your action plan is possibly the most important part of any business plan. What activities do you undertake to realise your goals? Think about your role in the business. Is it sales and marketing, or is it something different?
What I see probably happen too much of for mortgage brokers is that we go out and we promote lenders and we promote rates. And they're the two things that I know you have no control of. So when it comes to a marketing plan, here's my 10 cents worth, and I'll be interested in yours. I reckon you should be talking more about why customers should be happy with you, your experience, your passion, all the things that you can do for your customers that they're really happy about. Certainly they should know what it is that you do. If your customer, in their mind's eye, has you as mortgage broker, I'll guarantee you that means they think of you as a home loan expert. They're not thinking insurance. They're not thinking car loan. They're not thinking of any of the other services that you offer. So maybe we need to start marketing the fact that we're calling ourselves something different, finance expert or something else that doesn't put you into a box which just says no, home loans only. Okay, so just if that's what you do. Your value proposition too. I think from a marketing perspective, communication, we need to keep reminding people as to why they should be happy with that they've chosen us as a broker. Maybe your value proposition is the fact that your business is wholly built on referrals from existing customers or referrals from other people. That's pretty compelling for me too. If you survive purely by word of mouth and you're successful, that would suggest to customers they should be confident that you can do a really good job for them and you'll continue to do a really good job for them.
A couple of years ago, we changed the way we dealt with clients post-settlement, which brought in a lot more repeat business and new business from new customers and centres of influences. And what we basically did was my average loan size is about 700,000, so we do quite large loans. But clients at 0 to 500,000 was a category which we called a B client. An A client was 500 to 1.5, and our AA clients was 1.5 onwards. And we basically, with our staffing model, ran a system for them on an Excel spreadsheet. It's pretty easy to do. That we provided them with post-settlement information in areas that they like, stock market. We're aligned to a stockbroker who gives us data feeds on what markets are doing. They get a monthly review every month. We do a bi-monthly newsletter, mortgage newsletter, and we invite them to a property-based information seminar run by WBP. Rebel comes out and talks to our clients, just talking about trends in the marketplace, and we offer that based on their category A, B or C, or A, B and AA, and we ask them to bring family, friends who've got similar type mortgages, etc. And from there we build a rapport to get some mortgage business from them. It's a very simple and easy process, and it's very cost effective because you're using technology to do it, and you're getting data feeds from other companies who will assist you. That's as part of an annual review, the questionnaire in terms of the key questions in terms of how they're going, and questions such as, is there anything you want to talk to us about? So every client will get that. It's just part and parcel of what the value from WorkGo is.
Most clients will turn around and say, well, we're going well. Is there anything out there that's better than what we've got at the moment? And you turn around and normally tell them that the market's still competitive as it is, and you're still on a competitive product. That's right.
And it keeps you front of mind.
Exactly, that's the whole purpose of marketing.
Yeah.
That's where people, I think, lose track of things. It's really just keeping your face in front of them, because I know early in the piece where there was no marketing made by my business, and people would turn around and forget you. They'd almost forget you. Yeah. Right now we've got a telemarketer that calls our client database 4 times a year, so every 3 months they make sure they touch base with our clients. We send through e-newsletters, we send through hard copy newsletters every quarter as well. So just touching base with those people, making sure that whenever they think of a mortgage, they're thinking of loan market or they're thinking of Janelle.
But in terms of client communication, maybe there's 4 things that we do throughout the year, and the 4 things could be completely different to the ones we've got on this screen. 4 things that work for you. Certainly a website is something that 10 years ago most people wouldn't have had, potentially, especially the successful brokers thought, no, I don't need one of them. Whereas now, I think you do. You know, most people need to find you online to be comfortable, especially people under 40. And make sure that that website, if it was written 5-6 years ago, is up to date. Maybe it's time to think about email campaigns as well. A monthly or quarterly contact management system where we just keep our customer up to date. And the reason I say this is I know newsletters are fine and newsletters work really well, but how many of us actually have time to read all the newsletters that you receive? Lots of shaking of head, no, I'm very time poor, as opposed to think about even the irrelevant emails that you receive that are 3 or 4 lines long, and we read them. There's some message in there for us, I reckon. If we send a 3 or 4 line message out that's important to our customer, because remember you just said to stay top of mind, that's a pretty good way. Even if that email gets deleted immediately after, you've gone back in top of mind. So the 3 or 4 line email from the broker directly or from your office directly is probably as powerful as many other things you pay lots of dollars for to send to your whole database. One of the things that I can share with you that works for virtually every broker that I've ever worked with is this outbound calls. It's probably the cheapest marketing initiative that we have, and it's the stuff that you were just talking about, Craig. But just to keep in touch with our customers on a very direct basis. Some people are using social media, Facebook site for their business, all those kind of things. A lot of people tell me it's not working for them. So maybe do something else. Client seminars, bringing your customers back together and bring a friend, all those types of things, may be what you want to do. Who knows, there's a lot of other things that you can potentially do, but if you've got 4 key marketing things that you do through the year for your customer, so you can see there's a variety of ways we communicate with them, I reckon that's a pretty effective program, and it's a lot better than just buy the off-the-shelf newsletter, send it to my customers, marketing done. So from an action plan, one of the things we need to know about is generating a leads database. And one of the things to be effective and to make the profit we want to make, if we're going to increase our revenue by 30% or grow our business by 30%, more than likely we have to generate some more leads. And sometimes it might mean about being more effective with conversion of leads, but for most of us, if you're going to grow, we'll probably have to generate some more leads. So one of the questions I would always ask of a broker is, how many leads do you need to generate to meet your annual settlement volume goal? One of the things that we talk a lot about when we come down to time management is that we know you have to spend a bit of time each day on the deals in progress, the deals somewhere between application and settlement. Even if you don't do anything with your customers with respect to that, you have to know what's going on, right? I assume none of you actually go, well, that's behind me, it's in my back office, don't want to know about it. Most of you have to have a hands-on approach and you see what's happening, you manage your team. Also, I hope in your ideal days, you've got a couple of appointments you've got with prospective borrowers, customers of yours or existing customers, and potentially you're going out to talk to some referrers. But in the middle of that, somewhere between deals in progress and sales, there's a bit of time in the day I hope that you've got for what we're going to call marketing. And that's the stuff we're talking about here, high-paying activities. And I just want you to think, and if you can share a couple of these things with me, if from a day-to-day or a week-to-week perspective, what are some of those high-paying activities that you have to implement on a week-to-week or a day-to-day basis?
Right now we implement prospecting, which is calling leads every single day. There's a part of my day in which I make I'd say about an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of calls. And that's been the one thing that I've implemented into my business. Every single day I will prospect to make sure I book in appointments for the following week and so forth.
Brilliant.
That's been the biggest thing for my business.
Set time in every week.
Yeah, it's good.
And I allocate, a luncheon once a week. Even if it's just a quick sandwich with an accountant or a new prospect.
Yeah.
But there's about a 4-hour provision for marketing, which is sufficient in an existing business. Because if you're running a tight business and marketing plan, then your staff are implementing it, or your team are. So it's a bit of tweaking, but you've got to get out and about.
Your referrers are probably the most important people to stay in touch with. We deal with real estate agents. I touch base with my real estate agents every Monday morning, and I sit down with every one of my referrers for literally about 5 to 10 minutes. Most of them it's more of a how was the footy on the weekend, or how are your children going. And for people that haven't been referring, they're the ones where you put the hard word on. But yeah, absolutely, that one-on-one experience or that one-on-one with every one of those agents allows you to set that goal again for that following week. Whether you do it monthly, whether you do it weekly, I reckon that's been my goal changer for my business. It's been able to, again, grab that stick and say, guys, what can you give me for the week? And then being able to make them accountable the following Monday by saying, you told me you were going to send me 3 or 4 leads and I've got 1. What's going on there? And obviously working with them to teach them how to obviously refer business through to my business.
So to bring this into context into our topic of conversation today, we know where we want our business to go, and we know the things we've got to do it, and these are the things we're talking about right now. Hopefully we're going to break that down into some monthly goals and some monthly actions. So it might be about ramping up some of the focus on some of those referrers, or it might be focusing on some client database management, or it might be about attracting new referrers to our business. Maybe it's about changing the services that we offer, anything else you like. That's probably a tactical monthly thing to do. But then I really need to break that down. And if time blocking doesn't work for you, and I appreciate for some people it doesn't because we've got to be reactive, maybe the thing that works for you will be, here's the 2 things that I've got to complete today before I check out, before I log off my PC. You know, so it might be customer calls, might be referrer management, it could be something, but you've just got to have these non-negotiable, this has got to be delivered today, that's my tangible to do with a deadline. And if that worked for you, fantastic. But obviously the daily activities have got to be aligned to your monthly goals, and obviously your monthly goals are aligned to your business plan.
Pause this video now and note down your high-paying activities. Think about how you can communicate with customers and how you engage with them, whether it's via the web, face-to-face, email, outbound calls or social networking. A blend of high-paying activities will help you achieve the best results. The next step in building your business plan is creating a scorecard. This is the roadmap to help you determine whether you're being successful, whether your activities are delivering results. Remember, if you can measure it, you can manage it.
I think we have to have a scorecard that's more than about checking our commission statements, so that we can also make sure that our business plan's on track on a month-to-month basis. The great thing about being a broker, I think, is that you all get paid on a monthly basis. Sometimes you get paid a little bit more frequently depending on the circumstance, but all of you get paid commissions on a monthly basis through your aggregator. Would that be a fair assumption to make? The great thing about that for me is that should be a good trigger for you to go back and say, you know what, I've just been paid. I do have to check to make sure I've been paid correctly, but it should also be a time to say, let's block half an hour or an hour to do what I would call a business review meeting. And that is, okay, I've got my income. This is now the end of the month for me, whenever that time elapses. Now I need to spend a bit of time just focusing on what worked really well for me in the month that just elapsed, and what have I got to do differently in the month hence or going forward to make sure that I get to meet my goals or I can react to the result I've just achieved. So if it's just 1 hour or even half an hour per month working on your business or just doing your own performance review, I think it'll be time very well spent.
Pause the video now and note in your workbook exactly how you plan to measure the success of your activities. You might want to break it down into financial, efficiency or clients, such as client satisfaction feedback. Also think about how you're going to make changes should your plans go off the rails. Also note down how you're going to reward yourself if you hit the mark. With your plan in place, you're going to have to continue to revisit and refresh it to ensure you maximise your full potential.
Staying on track. Regular business reviews. This is to bring our business plan together. So we've got a vision, we've got a value proposition, we've got marketing initiatives, we've got high-paying activities, and we've got a mechanism to measure our effectiveness. So we've got all that in a one-page document. We can do that. We can articulate that on a one-page document. The thing that I'm scared of as the coach or the consultant is that document's there, it sits on your desk, and the next loan application goes thud and sits on top of it, and it gets dark and it grows mould. One of the things we want to do is have a regular business review meeting with ourselves where we bring that document. If that doesn't work for you, if you're not accountable to yourself and it's too easy, maybe you need to get an accountability partner. Understanding what best practice is too. What is best practice when it comes to lead generation or conversion or profitability or dollars per hour for you, those kind of things. What are the skills I've got to develop this year too? Is there something I've got to do this year that I really don't do very well or I don't like doing that I've got to have? So do I outsource it or do I have to go and get some PD, professional development, to improve that particular area?
Pause the video now and fill out the appropriate section in your workbook. Think about what you'll do to ensure you'll stay on track. For example, it might be a good idea to set aside an hour every month to revisit your business plan and put it in your meeting calendar. Review what areas you have excelled in and the areas you haven't done so well in. Now that you have your business plan firmly in place, what's next? Doug says there are some key steps brokers should take to translate their plan into action.
Bringing this plan to life though, all we want to do is let's work out what we want to measure for this business, set some goals, obviously really key. Definitely create a scorecard that you can update on a monthly basis. The key thing with a one-page document and the good thing about that is you should be able to update that plan on a monthly basis as well.
you.